Good afternoon, everyone. It's Kristen Hancock, the Simcoe County Stamper, and I am here with another Share a Tip Tuesday. I apologize for my absence the last 2 weeks, but I had some family stuff to deal with. Thank you to everyone who sent well wishes and let me know that you were thinking of me. I really appreciate that. So I had a friend ask me about shimmer paint this week, and so I thought that would be a perfect thing to show today, to share as a tip. So I'm going to show you today how, just one way. There are several ways that you can use shimmer paint, but we're just going to go over one way today. And maybe you can guess, some of you, just by looking at my placemat, what we're going to do with it. So here's what shimmer paint looks like. And I'll tell you that you can find it in the annual catalog on page 147. And it comes in frost white and champagne mist, and it's $11. One little bottle will last you quite a while. And I have a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock we're gonna use for this technique. And I have a blending brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a shake. And then you're gonna want to have a little container, something that you can put the paint on. I have a bunch of these little paint trays because I do crafts with the kids, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour some out onto that. You don't have to add any alcohol, but I am gonna give it a little bit, just one squirt, just to thin that paint out just a little bit. You could also use just a little drop of water. But again, if you want a thicker look, you can just leave it as is. So I'm just gonna take my blending brush now, and I take my cardstock, and I'm gonna work up and down in a pattern, just adding that shimmer paint to my cardstock. I apologize if I'm shaking the table. There's no way around it for this technique. And you can see it going on there. I didn't add quite enough. I'm going to add just a little bit more. So once I dip into the shimmer paint, I like to kind of dab around to get a little bit of the excess off, so I'm not going to wind up with one big glob. And then you can start a little bit off the paper and kind of smooth that out. And you'll see when you pick up the cardstock that it's shimmery now. I can go back and I can try to fill in some of those gaps where I can see I've missed some color, and the whole time I'm just trying to keep it even so that I don't have globs. I love showing my mistakes because I think it's really helpful. So I'll show you my very first attempt at this. Whoops. So then you will wind up with a shimmery piece of cardstock like this. It doesn't have to be super perfect because we're going to run this through an embossing folder. And when we do, we will wind up with this. So we've created a pearlized paper. So what's really cool about this is you can customize it. Once you have a bottle of the shimmer paint, you can create pearlized cardstock in absolutely any color just by doing what we did, just by using our blending brush. a little squirt of alcohol if you want to just thin it out. I found that it helped it to spread a little bit better having the alcohol. When I did it straight on, it was just a little bit clumpier. So I'm gonna share now just a couple tips. So this is the paper done exactly how I showed you. So I put the shimmer paint on the paper and then I ran it through. On this one, I ran it through and then I added the shimmer paint. And you can see how it's more patchy. So it's definitely, it worked a lot better just doing it on flat paper and then embossing, because here you can't see any streaks. You can't see where I've sponged with the blending brush. And here you can definitely see, and it was harder to get the pearlized look in the flat, like debossed areas, because it just wanted to stay on those raised areas. So that's one tip. The other tip, so then I tried it on, this was my very first one. So this is not having the alcohol added. And you can see how when I went in, I think I put the shimmer paint on my blending brush and I didn't start off the edge. I started right in the middle of the paper, and you can see where I touched down because it's a really concentrated white area. So I found adding just a squirt of the alcohol to thin the paint really helped it to go on more smoothly, more evenly, and that thinner layer, it's just spread. It spread more easily and thinner. So yeah, this one I embossed after the fact as well. So yeah, that is what I learned doing that. So hopefully you give it a play if you have the shimmer paint. If not, I highly recommend it. I'll show you another way to use it next week. And it's a lot of fun. So there we go, pearlized paper. How cool is that? If you have any tips, maybe I'll get you to share them next week after I've shown the other way to use it, just so we don't spoil the next week's tip. If you have any questions, go ahead, feel free to ask questions. And thanks for watching and have a great day.